This tutorial is about Microsoft OneNote. Microsoft OneNote is a program that you have on your computer that acts as your own personal digital notebook. Now, this notebook might be used for you personally, or teachers may provide notebooks for you to download that already has information ready for their classes. So this tutorial is going to give you just a brief overview of just a few of the functions of OneNote, just to get you familiar with how you can navigate and how you can use it. The first thing I want to show you is over here on the left-hand side. These are what are referred to as the notebooks. Now, yours may look a little differently. If you click this button right here, it can show you a different view of your notebooks. It may appear this way, and then you can click here to see a more detailed view. Alright, same with these little carrots right here. If I click to expand, I can see more of a detailed view of those notebooks. The green button checked here means that it is synced. One of the things you'll find with Microsoft OneNote is there is no save button. Save changes are automatic, and if you see green there, it means it's saving those changes as you go. Okay, so it's important to understand some of the terminology with Microsoft OneNote, and notebooks is the first one. Notebook is just like you would think of a whole notebook like you see over here. That's broken down into what are called sections. Now, the sections in OneNote are listed here at the top. These are the different tabs. Each one of those tabs is what's called a section. Within each section, there are what are called pages. So just like a notebook might have several tabs, which we call sections here, each tab could have several pages in it as well. So the word notebook, the words sections, and the word pages are important for you to get familiar with. Now, what you can do is use your own personal notebooks to keep yourself organized. To do that, you would go up to File, click on New, and where you would want to save it is under My Computer, and then you would name it. This could be my personal notebook. And notice where it's going to save it. It's going to save it in a folder that's actually automatically created for me when I open Microsoft OneNote for the first time. So where that folder is located is if I go down to my Windows and into my Documents folder, you'll see I have a folder in there that's called OneNote Notebooks. That folder is automatically created the first time that I open up Microsoft OneNote. So inside there you can see folders for where my notebooks are stored. So when I click on Create Notebook, if I now go back to my folders list, there you will see the new folder that was created called Personal Notebook. So now I can add my own content. You notice I have a new section up here. I can rename that section by right-clicking on it and say Rename. Maybe I want a tab for Math. I can make a new section and call that Language Arts. I could even make a new section and call it Science. Notice that each tab is its own color. And remember, these sections also have pages that can go along with it. So in Science, if I wanted to create a new page, I could rename it over here. If I right-click again, I would have the ability to create a new page, or if I just click on it, I could rename the page up here in this box saying like Wednesday Notes. So notice when I put the name up here, it automatically renames the page over here. Same thing here. If Thursday's notes. So I can make as many pages I want that goes within each one of these tabs up here. So this is a great way for you to stay organized, where you can create your own personal notebook with your own notes in it. You can put all kinds of information in here, as we'll talk about at some other point. But you can put audio files, you can put video files, or of course you can put text files just by clicking on it and typing notes. It makes text boxes that are very easy for you to add anywhere. So we've shown you how to create your own personal notebook, but what if a teacher has created a notebook that they want you to use for their class? This would require you to do it a little bit differently. So here's an example. If I go to my Spartan Learning Portal course, for example, I have Mrs. Fetterman for 7th grade language arts. She has posted a file for me called Unit 1 Notebook for Onenote. When I click on that file using Internet Explorer, it's going to ask me, what do I want to do? Now notice it's what's called a OneNote package, that .onepkg. Well, I want to save it. So I'm going to click at Save As because I want to tell the computer where to save it. So when I click Save As, it's going to open up my folders list. Now your teacher may instruct you to save it in one location, but I'm going to save it into the folder that was created for me called OneNote Notebooks. So I navigate to find that in my Documents folder. When I click Save, it now is saving that file to my computer. So when I go back to my list of folders, I see it listed there. Now notice it's still what's called packaged together. When I double click on that, it's going to automatically open up Microsoft OneNote, and it's going to ask me first what I want to name it. You want to keep it the same name that your teacher named it. You can choose the color that you want. Doesn't really matter. I could change it to blue. And then when I hit create, what it does is it unpackages all the different pages that were located in there. So now if I look back at my folder, you'll notice it's taken this file and created its own folder out of it. Once that's happened, I don't need this package folder anymore. I can actually right-click on it and delete the file because I don't need it anymore. It's been unpackaged and it's now a folder that's been created there. So now if I look at my expository writing unit, you see the teacher has created several different sections for me, and there may be pages listed over here on the right hand side for me to use. Now this is located here in one of my notebooks, and you see it's synced. Now after I've accumulated a lot of different notebooks, sometimes I might not want it to show up over here on the left hand side. So what you can do is if you right click, you can close this notebook. That takes it off the lists of your open notebooks. But if I go back into my folder, you notice it's still there under expository writing unit. So I can always go back in and open that notebook up by clicking on the table of contents, and I can bring it right back up again. So by closing the notebook, it doesn't delete it, it just takes it off my list of open notebooks. So over time, if you create too many notebooks to keep track of and you want to remove them from your list, you can always right click and say close this notebook.